New Balance Rebel version 5. How it looks like after 500 km. Let's have a look. Hello guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Ken, one of the Malaysia running YouTuber. Today I'm going to talk about this pair of shoes, New Balance Rebel version 5 after 500 km. We're going to have a look how the shoes look like and what's my experience with this pair of shoes during this 500 km journey. And in the same time, in this video, I'm going to compare the New Balance Rebel with the Asics Novablast 5. Both shoes already hit 500 km mark. So we're going to have a overview comparison, and I'm going to talk about how's the feeling using these two shoes during this 500 km period. Before we start, full disclosure, both shoes is purchased using my adult money. So all the opinion and all the review in this video is my own personal opinion. So let's start with the overview on the Rebel after 500 km. Straight from the look, the Rebel look a bit more bashed up because this side actually fall to the drain. So there's some dirt over there. I did try to wash it off, but it's okay, just 500 km, so there's some better marks all around the shoes to show you guys how this look like. Straight from the overview on the upper, from this side, it look like a bit of dirt anywhere. For the even the red on the back is a bit dirt. But when I look from inside over here, this side, especially this side, because of my cuffling shaving between the two shoes. So the shoes is shaving with the foam, so both foam over here actually is shaving on this side because the upper is much more thinner and much more softer, easy to shave off compared to the Novablast 5. Novablast 5 is showing a bit of sign. Meanwhile, for the Rebel, you can see the sign is much more breakage on the upper over here because of the shaving. When I run, my legs are intent to shaving each other, so that's why it will come out this mark and also at the foam. Meanwhile, for the upper over here, you can see some of the fur already starting to expose because of the shaving. Other than that, everything still look very intact on the upper. This is how the shoes supposed to look like. After 500 km, the upper is very intact. And the foam, you can see there's a lot of wrinkle, much more wrinkle than the Novablast 5, because the foam on the Rebel, the fuchsia foam, is much more softer. So once I put in polish, the wrinkle starting to show even more and more. So the wrinkle is basically the whole shoes on both sides. So the wrinkle is all around the shoes. The shoes basically is much more compressed to the first time that I wore the shoes. For the outsole, the rubber, both of my shoes is landing differently. For my right side, I mostly land on the outer part of the shoe, this part. So you can see this part of the rubber is almost completely flat, especially those triangle over this side, almost flattened off, and the exposed foam over here that already eaten up, already scraped off from the earth, from the ground where I land. The softer rubber, the easier to scrape off by the road itself. So there's a curve mark over here because of the foam scrape off when they land, the rubber go in. So that is the exposed foam that scrape off by the root. So on the back, there's some part over here has been eaten off, but on the heel over this side is completely nice. Same as this part, because when I land on my right, it's more to this side before I toe off. So that's why this area eaten much more. How about the left side? So the left side is much more balanced, more to the forefoot. So that's why you can see this pair and this area more to the flat landing. So this is the scrape off area, and the triangle shape of rubber is much more even compared to the right side. Same on the foam, also on this side, and some of the foam is starting to break off on the upper on this side. For the upper on the right side, because I say this part of the shoes on the left foot, I accidentally stepped to the drain. Luckily, nothing happened. I didn't sprain my ankle. It's a very shallow drain. I accidentally stepped on it and turn a bit, so there's some scratch mark all around the shoes. So all the scratch marks still at there. Other than that, this is how the shoes overview look like after 500 kilometers. If you guys want to have a look on the Novablast, how it looks like, you can just click the link below. I will link you directly to my 500 review on the Novablast, because you can see all my shoes having a same wear off area. Same on the toe box. The bigger the toe box, the larger foam exposed, the easiest the shoes get scraped off. What's my experience during this 500 kilometer? Basically, I throw everything in this pair of shoes. In this 1.5 months, once I get the shoes, I go for all kind of distance, from short, easy, all the way to long run, up to 30 kilometer. I didn't exceed 35 using these shoes, around 30 kilometer long run during this 1.5 month period. So all different run, I try speed work, long run, some intervals using it, and I found these shoes really shine at the base pace. That a lot of people call it as a zone 2 pace, the more as a conversation pace that I run or some long run. The shoes really shine at that. During some speed work, yes, these shoes able to go for it, but I feel like it's a bit lacking of the shoes, because the shoes is more intent design, more to daily trainer, not like the previous version, the version 4, more to the up tempo run. But this one is much more accommodate during the easy and base run. The shoes, it's really enjoyable, especially running at that pace. The shoes can pick up pace very easy, but I found it's a bit lacking on the high end speed. But for the easy base run, the shoes really work very well. Why I say the shoes work really well during all the base pace, easy way, because of the form. It's really soft and bouncy, especially when I'm going for a base pace run. The shoes is very bouncy and lightweight. It's really nice to run at the pace, and you can just easily cruise along the 10, 20, 30 kilometer using the shoes. Even though 30 kilometer, it seems like a max distance for me. Some people bring the shoes more distance using it, but for me it's like 30 kilometer max for it, because when I reach to a certain point, I found that the form is just a bit too soft for my liking to go even more, because the foam is really soft, especially when the shoes getting more and more mileage to the foam. The foam intend to get softer and softer. It's like contrast to the Novablast. Novablast is more to getting harder and harder. Meanwhile, for the Rebel, it's getting softer and softer. So for me, going to a higher mileage, higher distance, the longer distance, the shoes is like really not my type of shoes, because when I try to go for a longer distance, I intend to have a form, much more firmer form. If I'm not wrong, the shoes roughly around 350 km to 400 km, then I'm starting to feel the shoes, the cushion getting lesser and lesser, the bounce, the response is getting lesser. But the shoes, the form is loosened up, it's much more comfortable and getting softer to run away. And this thing similar to the predecessor, the version 4, the Rebel version 4. Once I use the shoes up to around 300, 400 km, the form getting to loosen up and getting softer and softer and much more comfortable. And that shoes I ran up to around 700 km before I retired it. For this one, 500 km, the shoes still, the bounce still at there, but it's not as much as during the new shoes or 100 km during that period. But the form is getting softened up and it's really comfortable during this ride. Now I'm going to compare the both daily trainer, the Novablast and the Rebel. So I'm going to compare how the build quality during this 500 km, how's the wear and tear look like, how's the ride feels like, and how the shoes look like. So I'm going to go through both shoes. So we're going to start with the how's the shoes look like after 500 km. For the build quality, if I want to compare both shoes, definitely Novablast will be better. We're going to compare left side of the shoes. This is the wear off area. Meanwhile, for the Novablast, it seems like nothing. Yes, it's some of the cloth already starting to come off, but the build quality is much more better than the Rebel. You can see some of the parts already broken up. Wow, the Novablast, the upper, still look very intact, even though this is already worn off, same as this one. But definitely the build quality for the Novablast is better than the Rebel. Next will be the ride quality. How's the ride during this 500 km? For Novablast, I think the form starting to getting degrade after around 350 km, almost similar to the Rebel. Around 350 km, the performance of the form started to degrade. For Novablast, it's quite weird. It's very soft and comfortable. It degrades suddenly around 350, around that. The form is just like boom, it's downhill really quickly. And the form hardened up during this 300 to 500 km period. Meanwhile, for the Novablast, it degrades, but it degrades in a very controlled pace. It's not like Novablast is just drop like that. For Rebel, it's slowly degrade and the form is loosened up and much more softer and comfortable. So for this one, definitely Novablast will win on this category. Now we're going to compare on the rubber, the outsole of the shoe. If you look at the Rebel, you can see much more wear and tear compared to the Novablast. But for the performance wise, Novablast is not really up to par compared to the Rebel. This is a same version happening since version 3 I'm using. The shoes is not really that grippy, especially when it's wet. I fall down a few times on the version 3, and once it's wet, it's getting worse. It's not really that grippy. A hard grip is not that grippy, and the grip is the rubber on the shoes is hardened up. Meanwhile, for the Rebel, still really soft and it's very grippy when it's wet. So if compared to the grip, definitely Rebel win on this category. If compared on the durability, definitely Novablast will win on the durability. You can see the rubber is like still plenty to go. Meanwhile, for the Rebel, there's a lifespan is not that much compared to the Novablast. For Novablast, it's really comfortable straight out from the box. I really enjoy this pair of shoes. When it's straight out of the box, the shoes is very comfortable, very bounce and very soft. I really enjoy the shoes the shoes out from the box and really nice to run using it. But the form getting harder and harder when I use it more and more. So the enjoyment getting lesser and lesser. It can go for all kind of distance from short until long, but the form is getting harder and harder. You can see the form is a bit hard compared to the Rebel. It's a bit soft, so the energy that I use is not that much compared to try to bend the Novablast. So for the excitement, the joyride of the shoes, definitely I give to the Rebel. This is a very fun shoes, especially if you want to bring the shoes, one pair of shoes that you go for travel, everything. This shoes definitely is a fun shoes to bring. You can tackle all different kind of workout using these shoes. So guys, this is the end of my 500 review on the Rebel and the quick comparison between the two daily trainer. So that's all of the video. See you guys on the next video that I'm going to compare Rebel with the Evo SL. See you guys and bye.